Oh, he believes a lot of wild things. One of them is transgender surgery for people who are under 13.
So for those out there who are wondering, aren't there something else you could be doing or doesn't seem to impact you in your life? This is what it means to show empathy. This is what it means to be welcoming.
He changed the Minnesota state flag to make it look like a Somali flag. You ever seen that?
But our current flag is problematic. I think we all know that. We've evolved into a more diverse state. And
Joe Rogan's reaction shifted the moment he noticed something strangely off about Tim Walz. Almost instantly, Walz stopped coming across like a typical public figure and started feeling more like a bundle of surprises in motion. The seriousness usually attached to politics faded away, replaced by Rogan's clear disbelief and criticism. What unfolded felt less like a planned discussion and more like raw, unscripted amusement captured in real time. Messy, unexpected, and impossible to look away from.
Walz's descriptions of his military, because there's some issues there.
Yeah.
That people have. I don't know if he flat out ever said that he served in Afghanistan, but he certainly didn't dissuade people from saying that he was when they were saying he didn't correct them.
Right.
There was things.
Before moving on, make sure to hit subscribe. It genuinely helps and comes with real benefits. Over the years, Joe Rogan has listened to all kinds of strange ideas, from arguments about flying objects in the sky to bold claims about health breakthroughs. Even with that experience, Tim Walz caught him off guard. This was a politician who somehow made Minnesota's political scene feel shaky and hard to predict. Very quickly, the situation stopped feeling like a serious discussion about leadership and started to resemble a comedy of errors instead.
If that guy got into power, like if Kamala died and Jim Walz, Tampon Tim, was our president, you know how crazy this country would be? That weirdo puts tampons in the boys' room, and what about our Joy? Like, he's a complete pathological liar. Like a complete liar. Lied about being in Tiananmen Square, lied about being a fucking head.
Rogan took a closer look, expecting to spot a clever strategist, but none appeared. What stood out instead was confusion on repeat. Walz was always moving, always busy, yet meaningful results were nowhere to be found. There was plenty of effort and constant commotion, but real progress never seemed to follow.
Also, talking again.
You say you could fight any Trump supporter?
Yeah, he says he kicked their ass, and they're scared of him because he fixed a truck. They're threatened by his masculinity. I know how to fix a truck. So he said, like, do you? I bet you don't.
The lady doth protest.
I bet you don't.
I fear.
I bet if I bring a broken truck to you and a bag of tools.
That was kind of the redress, right? That was the attempt. It was like,
yeah,
the symbol of masculinity on the left.
What surprised Rogan even more was that Walz showed no sign of embarrassment at all. He spoke as if he held every solution, yet Rogan calmly revealed how weak those assertions really were. There was no name-calling or harsh language involved. The reaction leaned toward astonishment rather than anger, delivered in a plain, matter-of-fact way. The unspoken question lingered in the air. How did things reach this point in the first place?
Walz doing the exact same thing.
Right.
Exact same thing, and he said, of course, it's a salute. He said that.
Right. We spent 3 days debating, having them trying to debate that President Musk gave a salute. Of course he did. But that is a distraction.
This is how crazy things have gotten. Like,
What made it even more surprising is that Walz showed no embarrassment whatsoever. He spoke with confidence, insisting he had every solution, yet Rogan calmly exposed how fragile those claims really were. No insults were thrown, and no harsh remarks followed. The reaction wasn't fueled by anger, but by genuine disbelief. The tone stayed clear and direct, leaving one simple question hanging in the air: how did things end up like this?
And there's no pushback. There's no excuse me, I didn't go to Iraq. Right?
Exactly.
And I retired, as my unit was deploying. And so
we retired a couple months before. Right?
Yes,
but
those guys know. They know that they're going, right? It's not like they suddenly get a paper, on one day. There's a build up to that, and they're aware of it. And so even his personnel were saying, we all knew we were going. He knew he was going.
Walz's attempt to frame himself as a prominent political figure only adds to the comedy now. He carries himself like a seasoned authority, even though many people wouldn't recognize his name at all. As Rogan examined things more carefully, no clear plan ever came into view. What appeared to hold everything together was confidence, masking uncertainty. On the surface, Walz comes across as friendly and approachable, but once the details are examined, that polished image quickly falls apart. Rogan also pointed out that despite weak results, Walz speaks about leadership with unmistakable pride.
Tim Walz.
I know I'm doing something right when the Fox News crowd is all looking at me like crazy, like, fuck.
That guy was almost the vice president of the United States.
Elon Musk was crying last week. Tim is being mean to me, basically, like, yeah.
I'm sure you've seen that thing where it shows Obama saying, I need a vice president that's dumber than me.
He may or may not have cognitive decline problems at his age, but at her age, she's just dumb.
I think I was saying that.
Rogan compared it to someone stuck in another era while loudly boasting about bold new ideas. According to Joe, Walz behaves as if he's shaping history, yet much of the time it sounds more like unfocused chatter. Rogan describes Minnesota as a place marked by awkward moments and forced excitement, while Walz treats it as the heart of a major political wave. In the end, Walz feels less like the lead in a serious political story and more like the star of an endless outtake reel where moments meant to matter often turn unintentionally funny.
It's probably a real person. He might not be Tim Walz. Trump is staged.
No, he slaps her.
I mean, I usually.
Definitely. This is all 100% real, Jamie. You're a plant by the
Jamie's
guy.
compromised on top of it.
Riley Moore fell for an AI-generated video of Minnesota Goat. I fell for it too. And do you know why I fell for it?
Yeah.
Because I believe that he's...
Rogan was taken aback by Walz's steady refusal to accept responsibility. Mistakes never seemed to exist in his version of events. Joe Rogan pushed back on the idea that Tim Walz was simply being misunderstood, pointing out that while he talks at length, very little meaning comes through. His extended explanations feel vague and unfocused, doing more to cloud the issue than clarify it. To Rogan, it all sounded like hollow reassurance. Lots of words, but nothing solid behind them.
We're talking about cracking down on hate speech online. Like, that free speech is not hate speech. That Tim Walz guy was actually saying it.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracies.
Walz tried to come across as friendly, but Rogan remained unconvinced. His seemingly casual demeanor felt staged, as if carefully crafted by a PR team. He cheerfully frames failures as if they're milestones in a success story, even when nothing goes right. For Rogan, each public appearance seems to deliver yet another awkward moment, turning what should be serious leadership into unplanned comedy.
Video of him taking down the Minnesota flag and he replaced it with the new flag. It looks a lot like the Somali flag. Minnesota's a huge population of Somalis. All right, ready? Whoa, wait a minute. So he gets the flag, picks it up, and replaces it.
There, that's better.
The biggest irony, Rogan observed, is that Walz genuinely believes he's excelling. Even when critics and onlookers point out glaring mistakes, he treats them as accomplishments. Rogan joked that Walz seems more invested in chasing trends than producing real results. He often mistakes polished talk for meaningful action, skirting around problems instead of solving them. Criticism doesn't make him pause or reconsider. If anything, he responds with even greater confidence, doubling down in a way that only emphasizes the problem. Watching Walz under pressure has become almost predictable. He seems determined to make the wrong move and rarely do things improve. Yet, for better or worse, it's impossible to look away from the unfolding spectacle.
Like Kamala saying, I need a vice president dumber than me. It's bad to have tampons.
We have a lot of accomplishments. We haven't taken adequate credit for it, frankly. We got to do a better job of getting the word out about what we have accomplished and who did it.
You got to lose because we got to break this cycle.
The timing made the moment even more striking. At a point when the public was calling for genuine honesty, Walz delivered almost the opposite. Viewers saw a mix of staged charm and awkward moments with little trace of authenticity. According to Rogan, Walz isn't malicious or secretly manipulative, he just seems out of touch with reality. He casts himself as the central figure in a somber political story, yet the public can't help but see him as unintentional comic relief. Rogan didn't mock him or dwell on his flaws, he simply pointed out a repeating pattern. Long speeches carry little weight despite their grand presentation. Confidence surfaces but produces no results. and timing is often off. These traits turned Walz into a walking blooper reel. Minnesota expected steady leadership, yet what Rogan exposed was an almost comical figure. And once the public recognized it, it became impossible to look away.
Logical liar.
To be honest, there are outsiders coming into communities, stealing and moving jobs away, and making life harder for people living. And they have names: Donald Trump and Katie Vance.
Complete liar. Lied about being in Tiananmen Square. Lied about being a head coach of a football team.
Because this started, I love the story. It's a young prostitute. Kamala Harris after I'm going in that courtroom for the first time.
Pathological liars. People that are habitual liars. They just lie all the time about everything. Oh, you didn't deploy for war. You didn't. Why are you saying you deployed at war? The weapons you used in war? No. You were in war.
I plan on waking up on November.
By the end, it became obvious that this wasn't about bad luck or a single awkward moment. A clear pattern kept emerging. Every time Walz tried to appear serious or presidential, it quickly unraveled into yet another cringeworthy episode. The longer he spoke, the more the same mistakes repeated. Instead of learning from them, he treated these errors as proof of his own success. Rogan's observation wasn't drawn from secret intelligence or hidden scandals. He simply let Walz speak and act naturally. The result was accidental comedy, not danger or wrongdoing. Walz remained confident under pressure because he genuinely believed he was winning, while onlookers could only watch in stunned disbelief. When Rogan held up that mirror, the illusion shattered entirely.